Hi guys, in this lesson we will get familiar with tuples. Tuples are unordered sequence. They maintain the order. Also they are immutable. They could be ordered, indexed, or it could allow duplicate values inside of it as in the list, but compared with the list it can't be changed. You can't append or remove any value inside of it. Let's get back to our command prompt and try to run our server. Here I have already closed the server inside of my tab, but on my command prompt it's being run. What should I do? As I said before, I can't close it and open it again. It will give me the error. In order to open up our server, I will have to click on Ctrl C first, not Ctrl S, but Ctrl C, and it will close our running server, and I will open it again from here. Let's just clear it and open the Jupyter notebook from start. Notebook here, click enter. It will run our server here, local server, and all these default root folders here. We have already created our folder here, Python folder. Let's go to it. Inside of lessons, you could see that we have already explained all these lessons here, and let's create a tuples lesson here. And name it as a tuples here, tuples.ipnb. Click enter. Add a couple of lines here and start to explain what are the tuples. Tuples, as I said before, they can't be changed. They are unordered sequence. They maintain the order, and they could be comma separated elements within these parentheses. They are written as a comma separated values. Let's give a variable name here and curly brackets. While lists are surrounded with square brackets, tuples are surrounded with these curly brackets, parentheses. And inside of these parentheses, it could accept different types such as strings, like house, for example, integers, different types of integers, and floating numbers, even 34.5. Let's click run. It has accepted all these values. If I print out my variable name, it will print out all these elements here. But as I said before, it can't be changed. You can't modify them. You can't append a value inside of it as we have done it in the list. But you can access it with the help of indexing, square brackets, as we are accessing in index. The same structure is also the same for the tuples too. You could see I have with the help of these square brackets and one positions, I have accessed this value here, because it's only as in the lists they are accessed with the help of the indexing for starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. These values, all these values are held inside of these parentheses. You can even access this with the negative indexing. If I type -3, for example, or 2, click enter, it will print out 23, because it will start to count from this one, -1, -2, -3, and -4 here. We could combine tuples as we will do it with the list. How we should do this? Let's create two tuples here. The first one will be tuple 1, and it could contain tuple 1, and could contain, let's say, the two strings here. The name 1, Richard, for example, Richard, and the second name could be Kevin, for example, and create the second tuple here, tuple 2, and name, give also two names here. Let's see, Richard or Roman, and the second name could be Edwin, for example, Edwin. and here I want to combine them. How should I do this? Just plussing or combining, concatenating them. Tuple 1 plus tuple 2, tuple 2, and click enter. You could see that it will print out Richard and Kevin Y. If I run this once and run this again, it will print out all these numbers. Always remember, when you are going to run the command, make sure that you have run the previous ones. Without running it or executing it, your result will be wrong. Here I have just summed these tuples and printed out the result here. But if I want to concatenate one tuple with the names, like without giving the value or directly by typing the tuple, I could do it to Ricky, for example, and the second name could be let's see, the second name will be Kelly. If I click enter, you will see that it will also concatenate these names regardless of their holding values. It will directly combine this tuple with these values here, because this is also considered as a tuple. Also, we have a length function to check the length of the tuple. If we are going to check the name of this tuple, let's see that I want to give this the variable like t1 or just t. I want to hold all these names in the variable t and print it out. First I will run this one, and after that I will print this one, and or t now will contain these values with these tuple values here. And if I want to check the length of this t variable, I will type the length function, and inside of length function I will type in t. It will print out 4. We have 4 elements inside of this tuple. This means like that. Let's create one more tuple called t p. I just give the different types of variables, but you are free to name whatever you want. Let's like name 2. We will create the variable here, name 2, and give the different values here, like 12, 11, 10, let's see, 111, 1 and 5. Click enter, and if I want to sort all these values in a ascending order, how should I do this? I will have to type in name 2 equals, or another variable equals, does not matter, we could even type in name, and this variable should be sorted. We will give or add sorted function here, and inside of that function we will paste this variable here. It will sort. If I click run, if I just type in the name here, you will see that it will sort all these values in an ascending order here. This is also very useful to know. We could also find the index of a number or an item or the position of it. Let's see, add a couple of lines. And I want to find the index number of this one, or 111th. How should I do this? We know that this variable holds all these values. This variable, we have a name variable here, name 2, and I want to know the position name of 111. We will type the first variable name, then index function here, and the position or value, this one, and click run. It will print out the index of this item here, 111. This index will be 2. Starting from 0, 1, and 2, it prints out this value and gives you the result that this item is located in the second position here. Tuples also have nested types. What does it mean? Let's see that we have a tuple items. Inside of that tuples we will have 2, 3, let's see, and another tuple here. Let's see, book, and create another one, pen. Also, we might have another tuple inside of it, 4, 5, and click enter here or run it. And now if I want to, let's add one more element, pencil, and inside of this tuple I will have one more nested item, 1 and 2, and click enter. If I print out this variable here, items, click enter, you will see that it will have all these elements printed out, and these elements will have the position names, and each element will have an index as a separate index here. Let's try to find the index of let's see that I want to just print out the 5th or 4th index here. Click out 4th index, this one. You could see that it will print out this whole tuple as a separate index number, as one positional item here, although each tuple will be given as a one positional argument here. If I want to print or access this tuple, I will have to add an additional square brackets, and inside of this tuple I will give and start over again 0. Click enter. You will see that I would access this pencil with the help of 2 square brackets here. Also, I can even enter this pen. Let's see that I want to enter this tuple. We could see that we know that this tuple have a position starting from 0. If it's 0, it could be 1, and we know that this one will be 2. And now if I want to visualize or print out this pen, the positional item or index number of this pen, how should I do this? Let's try to count it. First it will be 0, 1, 2, the second position here. Sorry, let's cut it. The second position here. Yes. And then this pen will be 0, 1, the first position, this one. And if I click run, it will print out the pen. You already know how to count these index numbers. If you get confused, just try to learn the basics of the lists, and from lists you will learn all these concepts, and it will be much more clear for you. And we could also check the type of this tuple. If I have a tuple and I want to check the type, I can easily add the type function. Even we could maybe check the type of this item here. If I click enter, you could see that it will print out str, string, because this pen is a string value, and it will just print out the type of this tuple here. It's also true for the list. If I type the square brackets here and want to print out the type of this A here, you will see that it will print out, first run it, second run it again, it will print out the list. But if I would have the this curly brackets here and click in tuple, it will have a tuple here. This is just a quick overview how you could get to know the type of your strings or your values. And now we could use also constructor to make a tuple. Let's see that we have a tuple here, t equals to Adam and then Dean, and I want to check if this name is inside of the tuple. You know how to use already if else condition. I know that I haven't explained it, but this is just the basic introduction. We will cover it in the future, don't worry. This is just to make you a bit understand the concept. Why do we need it? Sometimes if then in t, you could see in is used in order to check the existence of the word inside of a tuple. This in is used occasionally. We even without giving this in with the conditions, or if we could check it like this one, then in t, it should print out true. You could see without giving condition it's also possible to know, but I want to use the print yes. It's just a short way of, otherwise else print no. Click enter, you will see that it will print out the yes, this tuple contains this word or this string inside of this tuple. Lists take usually more memory than tuples because they have more methods. Usually tuples takes less memory. How we would get to know them? Usually if I print out the a equals square brackets and it is counted as a list, I will enroll because it's surrounded square brackets, and I want to print just all the methods of the dir, or all the methods of this variable here a, you could see it will print out all these methods. But if I have the tuple here, this one, and want to print out the methods of this tuple function inside of the dir b, it will print out these methods here, and from here you could see that tuple has less methods than list, and that's why when you run it you would get less time, you will need less time for tuples compared with the lists. But for easy to use, always I prefer to use lists sometimes because they are more flexible and you can edit, access or remove anything you like. But tuples are also very useful to know because they will be used sometimes if you would have a sensitive data, sometimes because it could not be changed while lists are being changed in your data here. That's it for now. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.